Last time on Star Trek Deep Space Nine.
Take it away.
Very good. Oh, I have to do this?
Oh.
And now the conclusion.
The docking ring is now open. Welcome back to episode 19 of Audio Umox. I am Simon Van Gelder, your co-host.
And I'm John Christopher. Sorry for interrupting.
You didn't interrupt. Captain John, how are you, brother?
Much better than you, apparently. I think you seem to have caught something, Rhizzian flu or something.
I think it was that unprotected sex with a Regulan bloodworm. And in Quark's Hollow Suite, which he doesn't hose out more than once or twice a week. So that's got to be it.
Yep, yeah, got some Klingons hanging on.
I'll tell you. Well, you know what's interesting is like right now, and I'm going to beg our listeners forbearance, by the way, and thanks, by the way, for longtime listeners or new listeners. Welcome back to the show, episode 19. We're so glad you're here. We are a little behind again, and it's not a good excuse, I guess. It's a good reason. I hate to make excuses, but as you may recall from our last episode, I have not been well. I've had some chronic conditions that require some treatments that unfortunately leave me wide open to other illnesses. Long story short, a lot of the medications I've been taking to take care of this chronic condition I have, which is, by the way, more annoying than anything else at this point, but anyway, I digress. The chronic condition requires some medications that I unfortunately had some bad reactions to, which led to other conditions, which included trips to the hospital, IVs, CT scans, yada, yada, yada. The outcome being this week, when I thought the chronic condition issues were behind me for this point, it did leave the door open apparently for me to get the flu. So I have since Monday, and we're recording on a Friday night, December 1. Happy December 2017, everyone. I woke up on Monday coughing and feverish and headachy, and I thought, oh no. And that was after a weekend where I had yet another trip to the doctor to get a shot of steroids because I had a bad reaction to something I ate this time.
Yeah.
It's pretty pathetic. You remember I'd had a reaction. I know you're like rolling your eyes every time you get a text from me, John. You're like,
oh my God.
Pete, really, dude? Are you making this up? You know, and it's like I told my wife, I was like, this has been almost 2 solid months of being sick, basically, or not well. And I'm like, anybody who believes that I'm just enjoying loafing on the couch at this point does not know me. I went a whole month without going to the gym, man.
Yeah. And that's tough to do.
You know me, that's my thing. And it's my jam. And like, so anyway, I woke up Monday and crappy, and the fever broke. And so Thursday was the last day of November, correct? So
yes, that was Thanksgiving, right?
Right. So I have, for 2 years, I've used a heart monitoring system called MyZone, and I use it at the gym. And if I don't get, they have it called MyZone exercise points or something like that. And if you don't get a number of those, every basically 12 months anyway, they've got all these different months of activity of certain levels.
Sure.
I'm up to platinum level, okay? It starts at iron, bronze, gold, and now I'm at platinum. The next level, which I will get if I continue at this level for 11 more months, is a diamond, and then after that, it's Hall of Fame for another year.
Wow.
So it's 2 more years. So if I can keep this level up for the next 23 months, I'll be Hall of Fame.
Right.
Here's the thing, though. Here's what happens. If you go a month without hitting the bare minimum, they knock you back down. And
no.
You don't start completely
to the
over.
beginning?
No, that would be cool. Yes. But you start over at the next level before. So I'm looking at yesterday. Actually Wednesday night. I'm looking at my MyZone on my app on my phone. I'm going, okay, I only need 206 MEPs to keep going and not get left back.
Knocked back, right. That's like me on airline miles.
Exactly. That's it. Yeah, or like our Hilton Honors Club. Like, I'm not going to stay silver this year because I haven't stayed long enough. It's not going to happen. Even though I just stayed in Oklahoma City at a Hilton hotel, that's not enough. I need 3 more stays, and that's not going to happen this month unless I get kicked out with my coughing. I might, so who knows? I'm looking at this, and and my wife's knowing because I'm telling her I'm going to lose platinum. I can't lose platinum. It's like, and it means nothing to anybody but me. It's so pointless, right? It's
Sure.
a total,
It's just a personal goal, though.
It's a personal goal. It's a vanity metric, but you're right. It's a personal goal, and you know me, knowing me as long as you do, know that this is one of the things in my life that gives me joy and meaning and purpose. Blah blah blah.
Sure.
So I'm sitting there and I have 206 to go. Now, my typical workout. So even when I was sick, like at the hotel, we were in Oklahoma City. I stayed at. I did some treadmill and stuff like that, and I could burn like between 80 and 100 of these things. So I kept whittling it down. So anyway, Wednesday night, it's at 206, and I'd done some walking, just like walking around the neighborhood, which was good because it loosened up a lot of this crap in my chest. But I'm pretty worn out. And I told her, I said, I got 206 to go. And she goes, well, wait, how much do you typically? I said, well, a hard workout, I might be able to get 130, 140, maybe 150. She's like, I don't know if you're going to do this. I'm like, oh, yeah. And she looks at me, she goes, don't do this. I know what you're going to do. I was like, no, I'll be fine. So what do I do Thursday? I get up out of bed, get the kid off to school, all that, do some client stuff, and then I walk 2 miles to my gym, and then I do 9 rounds of kickboxing workout. I don't do them full out, but I do them, and I haven't done one really. I haven't been at full strength there in over a month. Yeah. And the trainer's looking at me like, what the hell? You look like a ghost.
Right.
I'm like, yeah, I know.
Yeah.
So I get done with that, and then I walk home 2 miles, and I totally clear it. And and I'm thinking, okay, I'm going to pay the price for this. I'm going to like die or wake up today and feel horrible. And the good news is I'm coughing up a lung still, but I feel okay.
Yeah.
And I made it.
Good.
And I made it. I'm still platinum.
Right.
So I'm sure everybody's listening going,
good on you.
Could not have cared less about that. What does this have to do with Star Trek?
This episode lately reminds me a bit of our time in college together, where you had a few challenges, and I was the type of guy, I would eat a 3-month-old slice of bologna out of the refrigerator. It wouldn't faze me.
Oh my God!
It's like the
cast iron,
unbreakable, right?
Yeah.
It's so I am I'm the unbreakable stomach, and you were had your challenges, but
it's true.
But we made it through.
We did. You were. I mean, I was. It's always like I'm freaking made of glass, and I hate that about myself, and it's something that really bugs me. But you are who you are.
Yeah.
And
I ate dirt as a child, so I think that helped.
Well,
a lot of I've got a lot of a lot of good bacteria. Gut. Whatever.
Well, I think whatever gut bacteria I had was killed by all the antibiotics I've been on, and then the steroids I've been on.
Yeah, you're probably right.
The steroids. The steroids are the antibiotics killed all the flora and fauna or whatever in my gut, whatever that means. Yeah. And then the steroids suppress your immune system so much that it helps your body heal with bad reactions to food or drugs, but then you're also wide open to opportunistic illnesses such as the flu. And I went. Oh, by the way, I went to the sauna. I went to the pharmacy today to get some Vicks Vapor Rub because right now I'm just doing anything to get this crap out of my chest. And yeah.
Oh, I was going to say, here's a trick. Before you go to bed, rub the Vapor Rub on your feet and put socks on. I don't know how it works, why it works, but it's supposed to help coughing.
It'll make
it cough? It'll stop you from coughing, so you'll be able to rest and not be awakened.
Oh, that'd be great. Because I've been waking up every night at 2 a.m. until about 4.
And it actually softens your feet as well if you.
Well, that would be good because mine are getting a little hobbity. All right, I will. You know what? I'll do it. Why not?
Give it a try and then report back.
I will. Now, this isn't like in college when you told me to rub the icy hot on my junk, is it?
No, that was...
You go, old athlete trick, buddy. If you got a little itch there, just put some icy hot. I'll never forgive you.
Yes.
No, I was going to say, so I was at well, you got away with it. I was going to, so I asked, and I realized I have, of course, not had a flu shot. And I was there, and I asked the pharmacist, and by the way, the line for the pharmacy was 10 deep at CVS. It's that time of year. And I went over, and I cut the line. I didn't cut the line. I went around to the consult desk, and I just said, hey, can I ask you a quick question? And I said, should I get the flu shot? I've just had the flu. And they're like, well, how long you been fever-free? And I said 2 days. And she says, let me ask the pharmacist. She comes back and goes, yeah, he said... And then she goes, wait a minute, what now? And I said, well, how long? Do I take it at all? And she said, wait. So he said, come over here. And I talked to him. He goes, well, what happened? I told him. He goes, yeah, I don't want you getting the shot for at least 10 more days. He's like, you are not in any position with all you've been taking. He says, so I want you to just take it easy, get your body built back up, because if you get it now, it's going to lay you low. And I'm like, okay.
Right.
So apparently I still need to get the shot to fight off whatever strain I haven't got yet.
Because there's multiple strains. So
have you got yours?
Got one. I have not. I go to the doctor for my annual, and they'll give me a flu shot and probably schedule, because I'm coming up on a 0. So they're going to schedule the old glam shot up the poop chute.
I'll tell you this. I've told you this before. I've had a couple, it's so much gentler than it used to be.
Yeah. Well, good.
It's like a good sleep.
Good to know.
It's really nice. You're going to love it. It's going to be like the best sleep you've had in months. Trust me. All right. Well, everybody's probably going, wow, we got to hear about
Star Trek
middle-aged men talking about their wormholes. Hey, I wanted to say real quick before we get into this episode too, don't forget to follow us on the Twitter at Umox Podcast, and we want a big shout out to at Finney Can Help. One of our great fans and supporters and boosters who've been trying to get us some reviews and some new fans. We had a really nice download month, by the way, last month.
Awesome.
Even though we were not consistent with some things, we still had some nice downloads, and it's encouraging. We're not going to drag it out because we've already chatted a lot, but we're going to have an announcement either at the end of our next episode or the final episode, because we are 3 episodes out from the end of season 1, an announcement about what direction the podcast is going to take. I'm not foreshadowing gloom and doom, although I don't want to give anybody false hope that we're going to necessarily do all 7 seasons at this point. But we're also probably not going to just completely disappear, are we, John?
Very good.
Yeah.
Yes.
We'll talk more about it, though. All right. So before we get to episode 19, I think it's only proper, especially in honor of, and I'll let you take this memorial moment.
We must drink. This is Tranya. I hope you relish it as much as I.
So the father of baby Tranya passed away, and so
rest in peace, Rance Howard.
Rance Howard, yeah, and us being originally from his neck of the woods.
Oklahoma,
actually, he was an OU alumnus, and I believe World War II vet as well, if I'm not mistaken. And so anyway, he is the father of Ron Howard, and
more importantly, Clint Howard, who played Baylock in the episode of the original series, The Corbomite Maneuver, that's where we get our drop in for, of course, their favorite drink, the Tranya.
The Tranya. There you go.
So rest in peace, Rance Howard, age 89,
yes.
I believe.
Was it 89? Yeah.
Did you hear what got him? West Nile virus.
Really?
Yeah.
That's
it's
seems
surprising.
Unusual.
Well, apparently
it's
this
surprising.
I read a statement from Ron and Clint,
Yeah.
and he said that their dad had just finished his last film. By the way, he's twice a widower. He outlived 2 wives.
Wow.
He had just finished up, and 3 days after he put the film was in the can, he succumbed to complications from West Nile. And I got to tell you, my father, who is not 89, he is in his early, getting to be middle 70s. He had West Nile when he was about 69, and it's nothing to be trifled with, especially in advanced years. So apparently that, unfortunately, it did some damage to his heart, I believe. That was what happened. So God bless him. And he's one of those guys, by the way. He's a lot like he's one of those character actors that you've seen a million times, but you may not know his name.
Sure.
And you may not even connected that he was Richie Cunningham, Opie Cunningham's dad, but there he is.
Right, yeah, and he was, of course, Ron dropped him into a couple of his movies. He was in the Grinch and a couple of others. So
was he in Apollo 13 like Clint?
He was in Apollo 13 as well. Yep,
yeah,
absolutely.
Least he can do.
So
you're dead.
So there you go. So what are you drinking there, Simon?
Well, not to go on about illness, but the one nasty thing about my illness the past couple of months is the various medications I've been on, well, besides the fact I just don't feel well, have really put me off the taste of alcohol, which I know I tell people that and they just laugh. And it's because, but it's true.
Yeah.
And but today I thought, I'm going to warm up, but I'm going to try and choke down this. I mean, seriously, I'm going to try and choke down a homemade Vesper Martini, and that's what I've got here. It's okay. I got to be honest, it still doesn't taste grand. I've got a kind of a, not like a sucking on pennies taste like I had last week, but it's not much better than that right now. So,
wow.
What's your Dranya?
So in honor of winter, I have I picked up a very nice 15-year-old Dewar's Scotch whiskey, and so I'm doing whiskey on the rocks with just a splash of water. I read an article that helps release some of the vapors that help improve the way your mouth your taste buds absorb the taste and the smokiness, and so there you go. So just a whiskey rocks splash of agua. And I'm ready to go.
Great way to do it. I've actually got a bottle of J. Rieger Kansas City whiskey that I like to pour and maybe just put a little chip of ice in it or just a splash of water. Just to, like you said, open it up, and it's a really nice thing. I probably have that next time. Little J. Rieger.
Yeah, very good.
All right, so
okay,
we ready?
Shall we jump in
to get into episode 19 of the big show? This is Dramatis Personae, which is the third and last episode of the season. I'll stop talking. I need to stop talking because I'm going to cough. Go ahead.
Well, I was just going to give my brief preview, which is that it's where the crew gets teabagged by some telepathic energy spheres, and so that's the short. That's the Cliff's Notes. Maybe the Cliff's notes.
How many bars of Latinum do you give it? Oh, okay.
We'll just jump ahead.
Well,
okay, so let's jump.
Yeah. Do you want to just kind of go through the basic plot, and then we'll just kind of hit the highlights on this one, or
sure.
Since we've been talking about my plumbing for so long.
So there's a Klingon vessel, and it comes flying through the wormhole in obvious distress. It's about to explode. They beam a Klingon onto the ship at the last minute, and he says victory and dies, and so that's when everything kind of starts, unbeknownst to the crew. Of course,
I was confused because I felt as confused as Cisco looked when he did that, because I was like, why is he naming the last Jackson 5 album? Am I right?
Yes.
Yeah.
I assume that you are.
Yeah.
You're always right about those things.
Well, thank you. Yeah, I mean, it's funny because Cisco just looks so annoyed and perplexed by this guy, talking about the Jacksons, in ops. And prior to that, though, Kira was talking about a Valerian ship, and she's all like, they're into, like, apparently...
They're arms traders.
Well, apparently they're all into, like, a wrongly jailed man and his female kung fu friends who seek vengeance on their rival who put him away. Dolemite.
Hold it! What do you want, man?
FBI.
What do you want?
Open up your trunk.
There's nothing in my trunk. Where's your warrant at?
It's the FBI. This is my search warrant.
There's nothing in my trunk, man.
Open up the trunk.
That shit ain't mine. I don't know how it got there.
You're under arrest.
You're gonna have to take me!
One more move and you're dead.
Dolemite.
Yeah.
I'm missing your.
Dolemite's like one of the big blaxploitation movies in the early 70s.
Okay.
Dolemite.
That went right over my head.
Oh, well, I'm surprised
Sorry.
because
Yeah,
this is a lot of, you find a lot of this in I'm Gonna Get You Sucker. There's a lot of Dolemite.
Right.
And
Yeah.
the Kung Fu stuff, especially, and some of that. I couldn't, every time I heard it, I just kept thinking of Dolemite.
Yeah. Oh, right on.
Right on. Yeah, but you got another issue of, here's Kira with, who's got a beef with somebody who's done her people wrong in the past. That would be
Right.
the Valerians, I guess, who
they
were big friends of Dolemite.
Yeah, and just making money and not caring what the consequences were.
Right.
So, but she also, I think you're also confronting this issue of where the Federation requires, they have this transition from being a rebel fighting organization to being part of a larger organized structured government is this whole concept of innocent until proven guilty and jurisprudence that I don't think that Kira is accustomed to, and it's quite difficult for her.
Well, understandably, yeah. I think it's hard for her to basically 12 years removed from occupation to have to all of a sudden do what these pencil neck paper pushers tell her. And I understand that. You imagine growing up as an occupied people, her whole identity and existence is in being a resistor, and then all of a sudden, okay, they get what they want, but then there's all these rules put on them. And it's not like they can just go in there and blow up the camp of these people who've been oppressing them anymore.
Right. Yeah. Or do what is right.
Yeah.
Instead of having to follow the rules to get to the same place.
That's exactly.
Yeah. It is a struggle.
It's a struggle.
But that story is going concurrently. And I think weighs heavily on the conflict that is inspired by the energy spheres. So these energy spheres are released, and people start acting in peculiar ways.
Almost immediately, yeah.
Almost immediately. Yeah. And the Odo gets kind of split in half.
Odo's freak out was epic, man.
Yeah, so his head kind of cracks open, and then he goes back to normal and passes out. And here's my calling BS in that if he had passed out, was completely unconscious, had no mental control over his body, wouldn't he have turned into the gelatinous goo state?
I think it would have been far more interesting had he just exploded and cascaded down as just and into a pool. I think that would have been interesting.
That would have been, and then some janitor comes and scoops him up or whatever.
Well, no, Quark instead of running off for Dr. Bashir would have been like putting him in little vials to sell him.
Yes,
because that's what Ferengis do.
Or someone comes with a syringe, just sucks him up and.
Might be the most fun he's had in his whole life. Yeah, that was great.
Yeah. Still. So he freaked out. Then next thing he's in the infirmary, and Bashir's inspecting him, and I don't. He's very curious, but none of his medical devices can do anything. He's recording stuff, but he has absolutely no concept of what healthy, unhealthy, good, bad are for Odo. So it was more of an experimental time for Bashir than it was a time of being a healer. So Odo, however, seems to be kind of unaffected by the spheres, the mental spheres, and some seem to be affected. Everyone seems to be affected in a little bit different way, although it does seem to heighten conflict for most. Like they're starting to choose sides and create this civil war. So, and the primary combatants seem to be Kira, and she is trying to woo an army, and then Cisco, who is really actually does not seem bad of as much as he's kind of sitting back and allowing his O'Brien and others to form his team, and so he's just I think he seems more interested in his hobbies, or this new hobby of building a Death Star clock looking thing.
Yeah, he just seems more don't bother me.
Right.
Right. And
Yeah.
and very actually he's very manipulable. Is that a word? He's very open to manipulation by underlings who want to play the game.
Mm-hmm.
And you know what? I've been that guy. Back when I worked at a couple of places where I had a large staff, and there'd be some infighting and some jockeying, and I was just like, ugh, it's so tedious.
Yeah.
I don't care. Just whatever.
Yeah.
And it bit me on the ass after a while, because you got to pay attention,
Sure.
or you get manipulated. You don't know it.
Right. Agreed. So I mean, some of the interesting things that happen is, Kira is trying to manipulate Odo, and there's, it's quite obvious that it seemed that Odo, she knows that Odo has at least some affection for her, and she tries to take advantage to get her to get him to join her side.
Right.
That was quite an interesting scene. So that's that's really the primary plot line as it develops.
And Kira, like, she's trying to get Jadzia interested in stuff, and Jadzia just seems lost in the reverie of all these different selves.
Right. So I don't know. Yeah, she was like just in reminiscing.
Right.
As opposed to, I would think she would have like a multiple personality internal conflict, but she's just kind of giggly, remembering the good old days and reminiscing about that kind of stuff. So, which was quite peculiar to me. So. Right. So
yeah.
Go ahead.
And Bashir, I don't know. Everybody, so basically, I mean, we don't have to go through every person, because basically everybody's a little paranoid.
Yes.
Everybody's...
Some more than others.
Yeah, I mean, boy, O'Brien's just really ready to take Kira out.
Right. Well, because he's defending...
The Cisco and the Federation, yeah.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, and Quark did not have a dog in the fight?
He not particularly, except himself, right? And that's how he would always be. And Kira nearly killed him, and broke his little Ferengi neck, or had him in a neck brace, because she's
flipping strong.
Yeah. So okay. So now, with all of this conflict going on, Odo, being the Wesley Crusher of this episode, has to find the solution. And he's not a doctor. He doesn't understand human anatomy. He just knows something's wrong, and so he sets out to use his expert abilities of investigation and to enlist the help of Bashir without his knowing, or with him thinking that it is in his own self-interest, which ultimately it is, but there's a certain level of manipulation there, and so they go about trying to figure out what the cause is, and it's they find out it's these microspheres, and find out that it's a certain sound level can get those things to jump out of people's heads or eradicate them in some way, and so now Odo has to get them all into one place so that he can extract these things, and
Right.
So he decides it's going to be some kind of docking bay, and so he turns on the the screechy sound, and these things
Keiko?
jump out. No, I think she was down on Bajor doing on some farm.
That was terrible. That was awful.
Whatever. Yeah. So anyway, yeah, and so that happens, and then here's my other science BS thing where they open the dock door, in the vacuum of space, and people are just able to just kind of gently hang on to something and not get blown out of the space station, but it seems to work. The spheres have nothing to grab onto, so they get sucked out, and everyone else is okay, and they go back to life as usual. So
I know that, and Cisco gets into a kind of a slugfest with a guard who's trying to take him out too. And what I noticed about that was that Cisco can really beat up the guy because the guy gave him a lot of help. I really hate it when the stunt guy is just unfortunately a little too obviously taking punches and waiting for. Yeah. It's like, not that I've been in a lot of fights in my life, but it's just like Cisco would elbow him in the chops, and then he would just kind of sit there stunned for a 1 count, a 2 count, and then he would punch his knee up at him, and then he would be like, ugh, and then he'd go a 1 count, and then he'd flip him, and it was just like, oh, this is a little fake looking.
Yeah. So one of the advantages to some more of the modern fighting that's filmed is they do it at a speed and then speed everything up.
Really?
So that it looks well, and then you also have some the whole thing is in slow motion, but yeah, if you do it at normal speed and then speed the whole fight up, it makes it look like they're fighting at real speed, and you don't notice some of the things that I think you noticed. Anyway,
I have not realized that, and I remember back in the day when they used to speed stuff up and it just looked so obviously sped up, so I haven't noticed anything sped up now. They must do it really well now, huh?
Yeah, and they're probably doing it digitally instead of just speeding the film up. So
yeah, it's like when Hawkeye would take the Jeep on MASH and he was trying to be and they had him driving recklessly. Well, he's probably driving 35, but they like sped the film up, and it just looks so fake. That's kind of what you're talking about.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah, because
exactly.
I'd watch that and I'd go, "That's so obvious." Like Gary Berghoff's in the passenger seat looking freaked out, and
oh, jeez. So whatever happened to the vessel?
I beg your pardon?
Did they just go on about their business?
Or
did they get blown up?
The hideous Valerians? I don't know, but by the way, did they not look like the aliens from They Live or something? They were. They just looked like shit. Oh.
Yeah, they were a little. Yeah, it was crazy.
I don't know. I'm not sure. I'm not sure about that.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't know what to tell you.
Right.
I think they were just so hideous looking. They just said, away with you. And we got a good episode coming up. So anyway, I don't know. Is there any more to add about this one?
I'm looking through to see if I could find out. That seems to be the primary thrust of the episode.
Is it the Valerians are ugly? What?
Except for the Valerians.
Oh, okay, yeah,
Except
okay.
the Valerians.
Okay,
yeah.
no, that's cool. Well, let's just get to it then. Did you like the episode? What did you think of it overall?
I found it fairly interesting.
Mm-hmm.
It was. There were some peculiar things and some things that left me scratching my head for sure.
Yeah.
But I found it I kind of an interesting twist to have it was some type of chemical or biological warfare device that has people destroy themselves. Seems not too far removed from what's happened in the U.S. over the past 12 to 18 months.
Yeah.
Through the use of weaponized social media.
Wow.
To get us to destroy ourselves. So I mean, this may have been a bit prescient of
Wow.
where we are today, but so I found that interesting just as a twist, because usually it's either a giant bomb or it's something, it's something viral that makes everyone die. This actively gets people to kill each other, and so that seemed for me, I found that interesting. On the character side, the Dax thing didn't make sense to me at all. But the rest of them, it seemed like just the character that they had developed taken to the extreme.
I think you make such a great point, though, with the weaponized social media, because what this thing did to these characters was it picked up on their inhibited and below surface level prejudices and fears, and magnified those things, and became a paranoid kind of amplifier.
Yeah,
just like you said, it's like the way the Russians and others, bad people, weaponize social media in this country in the past couple of years.
Right.
You're right. Yeah, it's a brilliant, by the way, if I may say, observation, which did not really occur to me. So I hats off. I think that's you nailed that. Yeah. And this is a great example. You're right, of how DS9 is very prescient about some things that a little ahead of its time. It's a little cliche, so it was ahead of its time. But the original series ahead of its time. TNG in a lot of ways ahead of its time. DS9 definitely ahead of its time. You'll see a lot of examples of that as you continue, dear listeners, to watch the show. So I totally agree with you on that. Did you find, though, besides that, was it entertaining to you?
It was for me. I honestly did not remember. This is one of those that I had not remembered seeing in the past.
I didn't remember it well at you.
Yeah, and so it was surprising a bit, because I didn't know what was happening. And then as I figured it out, trying to figure out who and how they're going to solve the problem, I found it was interesting. I did kind of like how Odo was able to use some tactics he probably learned from the Cardassians to befriend and manipulate Bashir, just like a certain tailor. And so that I found interesting. Again, from the grand scheme of things, does this episode, is it